Let us take in the resonance of the musical welcome and open our hearts to this day, to the beauty before us, the life within us, the love about us. Let us feel joy in harmony of being and to thrive for the good of the whole. And let us center in onto the love of this community, the time we have together to settle our being out of the busyness of life and feel Spirit's calling for resilience, resurgence, rising, and health. It's good to be together. Let's sing together hymn number 269, Lo, the Days of Days is Here. Please rise as you are able and keep your masks on as we sing.
Good morning. And welcome to First Parish in Milton. My name is Tom Kemp, and I am a member of the worship committee. We're so glad that you have chosen to be here with us this morning or to join us virtually. However your journey, whatever your heritage, and whomever you love, you are welcome here. Your presence here on Sunday morning enriches worship for everyone, and this sanctuary is made holy by your presence. If you're joining us for the first time, a special welcome. You will find information about First Parish in your pew, and one of the greeters, or I, would be happy to answer any questions that you might have. And there is a coffee hour? Not today. So I won't escort you over to coffee hour because there is no coffee hour. The work of living our faith is done both in and out of worship. So I call your attention to the printed announcements, and there are quite a few in your order of worship. So please take a look. In particular, I'd like to point out that we're looking for folks that might be interested in doing a worship service during the summer. That information is in the order of worship. So just give that some thought. And next Sunday, we will be having a unity service with the Congregational Church across the green, and they will be coming here next Sunday. Now, let's take a few moments to, in a COVIDly safe fashion, greet each other. And if you are joining us virtually, then why don't you open up to the gallery view. Of course, please stay in your seats and greet each other as enthusiastically as you can in that fashion, okay?
Good morning.
Morning. Happy Easter, everyone.
Happy Easter, people.
Good morning, all. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, everyone.
Oh, you're outside, Andrea. That's great.
Those are some warm greetings. So as we enter into our worship service, please take a moment to make sure that your cell phones are silenced. And as I haven't, I will demonstrate. There you go. Now is the moment when we can focus on being here, when we can let go of our worries, our thoughts, our lists, when we can choose to connect with ourselves, when we can choose to connect with the divine, when we can choose to just be present. Each Sunday, we light the chalice as a reminder that even in an increasingly unpredictable and dangerous world, the flame continues to shine. A corner of warmth and awareness where we, the members of this faith community, can find comfort, support, and connection to one another. Now, if you would please join me in saying the call to worship in your order of service. Come, let us gather. We gather to celebrate the sacred within and among us. We come to seek spiritual growth and understanding. We strive to practice acceptance, forgiveness, and love. Together we work to build a world with justice and compassion. Come, let us gather together.
So this is a story that I shared, I think, the second Sunday I was here, nearly 6 years ago. And it's about a cyclist who was getting ready for a race. And he had practiced for months beforehand. He went on the course and went down and up and figured out when he needed to lean and when he needed to come up. He knew exactly how many times he needed to pump to get up a good hill and how he could glide down to be the fastest he could be. He just was so ready for this race, and he felt when he was practicing, he would say, "This feels the most like flying than I've ever known." And on that day of the race, he was ready. He knew that he had done everything he could, and he was ready to really do this race. And when he woke up that morning, he just felt like some sort of a blessing was going to happen, that the hills were waiting for him. So he started, and off they all went, and he went out in front really quickly, and he went down and up and around, and by the second hill, he was way ahead of everyone else, and he went down and then going into the wetlands, and as he was going into the wetlands, suddenly a blue heron came up over, and the shadow over his bike handlebars, and he just stopped and straddled the bike as he watched the heron just fly over on the wetlands and behind the hill, going just incredible splendor, incredible beauty. And suddenly, all the bikes went by him, and he just waited until the heron was gone, got back on his bike, and finished the race. Years later, and for many years, people would ask him, what happened? What made you lose that race? And he said to them, I didn't lose that race. I left it. I didn't lose that race. I left it. And while we've been in 2 years of COVID, and of course we still are working, maybe it's turning into an endemic instead of a pandemic, we don't know yet. But we know we're living with COVID. But in these last 2 years, there's a lot of the race that we had to leave, right? There was a lot of the way we were doing things and driving ourselves that had to change. So I'm wondering if anybody had a thought right now about what part of the race you might want to just leave behind. What part of the race do you want to leave behind? Anybody have a thought? Anyone, anything about what we just had that they'd like? Yes.
I think we need to leave behind the sense that there's ever going to be a normal again.
We have to leave behind the sense that there's ever going to be a normal again. Yes. Say that again. Say that again, I'm sorry. Save the fires in California, to take some chainsaws and cut down some trees that are needed to be cut down, to be in relationship with the earth, a little bit more in relationship with the earth. Anyone else? Any other thoughts? Just think about that. I didn't lose the race. I left it. And let's sing the children to our Easter celebrations. Now is the time that we gather in presence in our stillness and let ourselves center into our bodies and breath. It is a time to nourish our own bodies and to let the thoughts that come in, your mind, that's its job to think, just let it think and just center in on the breathing and not latch on to whatever thoughts, just for a little while. Ease yourself into some stillness and let the sounds around you just be a part of that stillness for a little while.
The reading this morning is a poem, New Day's Lyric, by Amanda Gorman. May this be the day we come together. Mourning, we come to mend. Withered, we come to weather. Torn, we come to tend. Battered, we come to do better. Tethered by this year of yearning, we are learning that though we weren't ready for this, we have been readied by it. We steadily vow that no matter how we are weighed down, we must always pave a way forward. This hope is our door, our portal. Even if we never get back to normal, someday we can venture beyond it, to leave the known and take the first steps. So let us not return to what was normal, but reach toward what is next. What was cursed, we will cure. What was plagued, we will prove pure. Where we tend to argue, we will try to agree. Those fortunes we forswore, now the future we foresee. Where we weren't aware, we're now awake. Those moments we missed are now these moments we make. The moments we meet and our hearts, once again altogether beaten, now altogether beat. Come, look up with kindness yet, for even solace can be sourced from sorrow. We remember not just for the sake of yesterday, but to take on tomorrow. We heed this old spirit in a new day's lyric. In our hearts, we hear it. For auld lang syne, my dear, for auld lang syne. Be bold, sang time this year. Be bold, sang time. For when you honor yesterday, tomorrow ye will find. Know what we fought need not be forgot, nor for none. It defines us, binds us as one. Come over, join this day just begun, for wherever we come together, we will forever overcome.
My mother loved sunrises. She would make it a point to witness them, especially near oceans. For most of my childhood, we would spend a couple weeks in the summer at Star Island, a Unitarian Universalist conference center off the coast of New Hampshire. Every year, she would take at least one trip to East Rock pre-dawn to sit and watch the sun peek out of the horizon far off into the ocean and revel in the changing colors and gathering energies of daybreak. I, along with others, for she usually organized an ad hoc group, would sit in silence to practice awe and gratitude. The seagulls seemed quiet too, or at least a little quieter, right before dawn, until the peak of the sun, and then a lifting of flight. Awe, writes Jewish mystic Abraham Heschel, is to feel in the rush of the passing the stillness of the eternal. It is an intuition for the dignity of all things. What we cannot comprehend by analysis, he reminds us, we become aware of in awe. It is, of course, perfect timing that Easter comes in spring. In the transition of winter to spring, we naturally respond on a cellular level to the internal claiming of life's wonder and resilience. I was noticing on a morning walk this week that the early blooms of spring on the ground in azalea bushes and in flowering trees are bursts of delight, suddenly appearing from apparent barren landscapes, a surge of life and a steadfast beauty that is always there. Life from death, resurgence out of fallow ground. The feeling of spring sits well with the message of life everlasting, and sits well with the Easter message of Jesus' determination unto death for the blooming of humanity. New births, new blooming, the sun rising to a new day, all give messages for our notice of the life that knows no death, the life of which we are all a part for a time within its everlasting wonder. And this is much of what the Easter message is about, the celebration of life beyond our limitations, the willingness toward transformation, living fully in the moment given, as in a life continuously changing, finding in that acceptance and wonder, freedom from the fear of change, the fear of death. I had gotten the message that my mother was dying a day after my installation service here at First Parish in the spring of 2017. In May of my first year here, we formally celebrated the beginning of our new shared ministry, our possibilities, our hopes, our gratitude for past ministries at First Parish that brought us to this moment. One part of the service was a laying on of hands, facilitated by the Reverend Leon Dunkley, which is a ritual of community assurance and support for the endeavor of ministry. We literally connect, linking hands on shoulders to embody the groundedness of community. Congregants, colleagues, civic leaders, family, and friends placed a hand on each other's shoulder, creating a network that connected to me kneeling to receive your blessings of my call here and the assurance of our covenant to serve one another. It was a moment that held the room and each heart, a moment of the courage to love the unknown and the unfolding of our future together, a true gift of resourcing our collective hopes. It was a vibrant moment of potential and authentically shared presence. From our morning's poet, now these moments we make, the moments we meet, and our hearts, once all together beaten, now all together beat. Rising, renewing, resourcing in the promise of community. And we often miss those moments, the ones that tell us we have every bit of wisdom and intention needed to navigate our lives in courage and kindness. We don't often source our inner knowing of unity and beauty and joy and life and love. That's what we do here together. That's what we give one another. We often miss that wisdom of being when we're overwhelmed by circumstances, which is most of the time, or called to immediate tasks and reactivity of the tumult of busy, chaotic life. But within each of us and in every moment, there is a unit of seeing, a sense of shared life beyond boundaries, and a potential to live beyond that fear of death, which in its simplest form means taking in the moment and finding it enough, finding it a treasure of the gift of life. My brother Mark and I drove together to Asheville, North Carolina that next day after the installation, hoping to reach our destination before Mom's death. It was a tender time for me. I'd just moved on from a ministry of 17 years and a marriage of 25 years, landing in a place I did not know, basically starting my life over in some significant ways. And my mother was dying. The resonance of the installation service, and especially the laying on of hands, stayed with me palpably. I could feel the assurance of the healing and helping power of love, a resource beyond my making. It held me in my travels till family met to gather round my mother's bed. We made it in time and held each other gently. Never underestimate the power of affirmation, one to another. Amanda Gorman again. Come, look up with kindness yet, for even solace can be sourced from sorrow. We remember not just for the sake of yesterday, but to take on tomorrow. I believe Easter is a time to recognize that the message of Jesus' life and death is about resourcing our inborn potential to thrive with and for each other. I believe what needs resurrection, which can be translated as a coming back into notice, what needs resurrection is his message to find life in its abundance, love in its healing power, and strength in mutual recognition. These are the principles for peace and justice that he lived. This is the wisdom, the signature of being that Jesus gave for the blooming of humanity. And too often, through the ages, this message gets lost in the shuffle of fear and the need to control. I believe that the minute Jesus died, people began to seek ways to recreate the feeling of liberation known in his company. In their grief and longing and in fear of a sense of emptiness which accompanies all of our lives, seekers doubted they could come to the same sense of the eternal source of life on their own. So Jesus, once remembered as healer, teacher, and sage, shifted to Jesus as savior of souls, increasingly out of our league with proclamations of divinity. We didn't think we could do it on our own. Soon systems of belief were created that needed confirmation by way of authority. In 3 centuries, the government got involved. Emperor Constantine demanded an orthodoxy, one accepted religious way for the Roman Empire. It followed that heresies would be outlawed, demonized. It became dangerous to believe other than the politically established way. Then came Augustine of Hippo in the 4th and 5th century, who introduced the concept of original sin, a stain imagined from bodily birth come about by the act of procreation. Sexuality and sensuality were then signs of sin, dividing followers from their own nature and body wisdom from its guidance. The material world became less than spiritual, and soon the earth was thought of as something to use and control rather than praise and embrace. This disconnection is one of the main reasons that climate change is far more dismissed and denied than it needs to be. Consider the lilies of the field, said Jesus. He urged love of embodied being, humility towards its splendor, and our connection to it. That's why he could heal. In this journey further and further away from Jesus' message, the resurrection became thought of as freedom from a physical self to a better place than earthbound living, separating spirit from body, soul from experience. By this time, the message of Jesus' life and ministry was so lost in the systems of dogma that we had nearly forgotten the true work that we need to do for peace, for love, for justice, for hope, for heaven on earth. Love of self, love of other, love of earth, of creation and the cosmos. Brave and bold love that guides us into harmony, not systems of authority that determine your worth and judge your being. Jesus himself was opposed to hierarchy of religious authority. He taught that we each have the potential to manifest our sacred fullness of being in the lives we live. He taught that integrity of being is more important than the barriers of fear, death, and domination offered by those in external power, who live by the myth that truth can be controlled. You are the light of the world, he told the listening crowd. I think one of the reasons that Unitarian Universalists generally avoid issues of Jesus' life around Easter and concentrate on the blooming of natural life is that we reject the messages of resurrection and transformation as they are packaged, rather than the point of their being powerfully present in the potential of our lives. Rising, renewal, and resourcing are parts of the flow of this universe. They are gifts of resilience that we are born with. They are gifts that were ministered to us by Jesus. And we're not alone in this belief. The main purpose of the church is not to remember Jesus, wrote Tom Driver, liberal Christian theologian and one of my professors at Union Theological Seminary. Its main purpose, surely, is to participate now, in present future time, in the redemption of the world. When Jesus died, the spirit of his teachings and the love in his works expanded out to all who were attuned to the sense of the light of the world. He did not live to save our lives. His living ministry was meant for us to save our own lives with and for each other, justice and peace. To come to fullness in the life we are living is what he was preaching. A colleague once commented to me, in a world that is saved, there is no need for heroes. When we worship someone, we do not take responsibility for ourselves. Deep and wide gratitude helps empower us. Worship of other takes us away from our own responsibility. Again, there are many who share in this perspective and have for centuries. In the words of Teresa of Avila, Christian mystic of the 16th century, Christ has no body now on earth but yours, no hands but yours, no feet but yours. Yours are the eyes through which to look out Christ's compassion in the world. Yours are the feet with which he is to go about doing good. Yours are the hands with which he is to bless humanity now. It is not our job to ignore our embodied lives in hopes of escape through resurrection. It is our job to choose life, praise beauty, and manifest joy. Even in times of deep trouble, and division, even through loss and battered hope. In fact, especially then. So let us celebrate the glory of life, coming back into notice. Let us take it in fully. Let us rise to the occasion of living into the possibilities of peace, wonder, justice, and love, in gratitude for all the teachings through the centuries of such promise. So may it be. Amen. Let us sing hymn number 290, Bring, O Past, Your Honor. Please rise as you are able. Let us join our hearts in the spirit of prayer. Holy One of all being known by many names and in many ways, you who are celebrated all over the world in different forms, you who are known deep in our hearts, come to our recognition. These are difficult times. Feeling the resurgence of the earth does not always mirror our inner struggles. Help us know that we are one together in this life. and that resilience can be known, help can be found, and love can be generated. We know that sometimes we need to start small and feel your presence as we rise our eyes to the sky and expanse, or into the eyes of one we love, or in the power of community. Help us keep strong in our hope and in our faith, so that we can also support those who struggle deeply, to those who are deep in the ravages of war right now. May we hold them in our hearts. For refugees, for people suffering from illness, for those who don't know when they'll get their next meal, may we hold them in love and in hope for harmony with humanity. And I lift up these local prayers from Claudia Wellington, prayers for Yuri Buchanek, her niece's husband, who will be flying on a mission tomorrow to the Polish-Ukrainian border to bring humanitarian aid to the people of Ukraine. Safe travels, bold love, deep and wide support. And from Frank Graham, prayers for her dad, who is struggling into settling into a new nursing home. May peace and ease be with him, and a sense of the love that surrounds him. And for all the prayers lifted up but unspoken, let me and all of us surround them in love. Let us know them and hold them. Amen. Some simple qualities in resilience, and this isn't all that, of course, is needed, but some is, of course, to get in touch with your breath and your body, to remember that you have a whole being that can help in finding a center. And it is also to enter a day as a beginner, to know that there is unknown out there, and to greet each day as if you are learning, because it is teaching you, even though we carry all sorts of things with us. To give yourself a sense of being a beginner. You do not have to have all the answers. That can ease away too. And another thing, of course, is gratitude. Finding a way to be grateful for different things, understanding what is pulling you along and helping you along. And I'm sure you've noticed the tulips along the windowsills and up here, the lilies and the tulips. And I was hoping that we could give these tulips to people that have really helped us along the way during this time of COVID. There are many, of course, that have helped, and we'll share that in a minute. But at first, I would like to ask all the medical personnel that are in this sanctuary right now to rise so that we can thank you for all that you have done to pull people through. There's a few people up there, right? Mark Ostrom and Mary Blanchette, yes. Thank you for your dedication, for the beauty of your courage to keep showing up for people during this really difficult time. Thank you so much. And be sure to get a tulip on your way out. And I'd like to ask anyone here who is a teacher. It's another way of showing up, steadfast showing up over and over again. Thank you so much for your service and for all that you have done, dealing with that hybrid dance and with meeting your students where you hardly could tell who they were with the masks. Thank you so much. Feel free to take a tulip. And if anybody else has a thank you that they want as a group of people, there are, of course, lots of different emergency workers. Is there any group of person that we'd like folk to stand and... Mothers. Mothers, okay. Mothers, let's see. Mothers can stand up. And okay, so we're going to do fathers too. Fathers can stand up. Thank you so much for all that you have juggled and figured out and tried to make happen day in and day out for your families. Yes? Ministers! I thank you, very nice. Yes? Grocery store workers, bus drivers, other frontline folk. And this is something that we can carry with us, just like I was talking about the laying on of hands. We can carry with us people who have devoted themselves to the health of humanity. We can take that in our days and our lives, breathe it in every once in a while, and expand it out, and you will feel the possibility and the potential of our being together.
Today's offering is dedicated to the services and ministry of First Parish in Milton. Here's how to give. Simply text 617-539-7576. The number is on the screen for those online. Putting only the amount you'd like to give in the text message. Do not add words, only the amount. And you'll receive an automatic text message back. And for those of you here in the meeting house, if you'd like to donate by cash or check, there is an offering plate in the back on your way out. If you've done this previously, you simply text the number with the amount to give, and it will charge to your credit card. If you are proud of this church, become its advocate. If you care about its future, share its message. We welcome all to build a just and healthy world with faith, love, and compassion.
gone to bed. Nobody knows what lies ahead. Life is short, to say the least. We're in the belly of the beast. Be still, wild and young. Long may your innocence reign like shells on the shore, and may your limits be unknown. May your efforts be your own. If you ever feel you can't take it anymore, don't break character. You've got a lot of heart. Is this real or just a dream? Rise up like the sun. Labor till the work is done. Be still, one day you'll leave. Fearlessness on your sleeve. When you come back, tell me, what did you see? Was there something out there for me? Be still, close your eyes. Soon enough you'll be on your own, steady and straight. And if they drag you through the mud, doesn't change what's in your blood. When they knock you down, don't break character. You've got a lot of heart. Is this real or just a dream? Be still. Be still. Be still, be still. Over rock and chain, over sunset plain, over trap and snare. When you're in too deep, in your wildest dream, in your made-up scheme, when they knock you down, when they knock you down, don't break character. You've got so much heart. Is this real or just a dream? Rise up like the sun. Labor till the work is done. Rise up like the sun. Labor till the work is done. Rise up like the sun. Labor till the work is done.
Please rise. And please join me in our unison dedication. May these gifts be transformed into strength for this faith community, into comfort, food, and shelter for those in need, and may we be transformed by generosity. Closing hymn, number 12.
And in our benediction of the month, may the light of each dawn awaken wonder within you and stir new appreciation for our capacity for sacred connection. As I take out the flame of our chalice, may the faith of our light within burn bright, and may we take that into our world and ways and walking. Happy Easter. Brave blooming. Have a good week. Amen.
Hi, everybody. I
Hi,
can't.
everyone.
Here we go. There aren't very many.
No.
Yeah.
Everybody went to church today, right?
Yeah, I think most people. We're home because we're very sad. Our dog got diagnosed with a heart tumor on Friday and probably isn't going to survive. So we're so sad. Very sad.
Yeah.
I know if you guys have been through that, but I'm very sad right now. So we're just dealing with that. It's the worst.
It's the worst. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're totally part of the family.
I know. You get so connected. I was just thinking today, I'm like, no one loves you as unconditionally as your dog, no matter what.
Right.
Like, who's gonna love me like that when she's not around anymore? But yeah. So it's sad. But anyhow. Ruth and Charlie, are you guys in Maine?
We're in
Yeah.
Maine. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
We got family and friends coming in for Easter in a few hours, so
Nice.
We had a dog years and years ago, a dog who was a stray who found us when we were living in Washington, D.C. And it was a female shepherd, beautiful dog, and loved her dearly. And she died right after Katie was born. It was amazing. She just went down into the basement.
Really?
Found a cool place. Yeah, I think
Wow.
Yeah, but Katie had just been born, and I think I couldn't even process all of that when it happened, and it was later that it kind of hit me,
Yeah, I know. I've never had a dog. Like we've had her for about 10 years. Sorry, I'm just really sad.
I remember when you got her, we had meetings in your
Oh,
dining
right.
room included. Yeah.
Yeah, so I know that's right. So she's been a very good companion, but she's very, and she's kind of going down fast. So I don't know. We might have to take her in to have her put down tomorrow. I don't know.
Oh,
So anyhow, sorry.
maybe don't apologize. There's no apologizing. Maybe they can come to your home.
Yeah, I know there's services like that. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. She's still with us, but she's just kind of slumping around. So we'll see. But she's been a very good companion, so I have to be grateful for that.
Mm-hmm.
in the midst of all of this, I do want to restate my gratitude for your wonderful quilt church and for all of those who contributed to that. But I know most of them were yours, and they're wonderful.
Yeah, they are
Thank you.
beautiful.
Yeah, good. Well, hopefully someday we can thank you, but we'll have another auction. We can auction off one of them. That was the original goal, but see. I mean,
Great.
back in the day pre-COVID, so we'll
I'd like
see.
to thank you for your as happened in the service, but we didn't get a chance to actually be at the service. So thank you for all of your contributions during this time of COVID, Elise.
Oh yeah.
It's been just wicked hard.
Yeah. Everybody's had to make some kind of sacrifice, that's for sure. So, but hopefully we'll come out the other side. How are you doing, India?
Pretty good. I had this like micro spinal canal surgery last Wednesday, and it went better than the first one, but still hurt. And I'm sort of seeing, I felt a little better this morning, so still taking it easy, but I have a nice Easter event to go to. So I don't have an Easter hat today, but I have my little fascinator on.
Yes, nice.
Like an Easter bonnet to me.
I know.
Well, believe me, I have plenty of hats. I don't think anyone would be surprised by that, but I mean, remember that movie LA Story with Steve Martin? It's like one of the funniest movies ever. It's so good. And I forget the actress's name. She's so wonderful, but it's like set in the 80s. So it's like everything is like big shoulder pads and big hair.
and big earrings. And she goes, every time I leave the house, I look at myself in the mirror and I look away real quick and I look back, and the first thing I see, I take it off. And it's a really good, it's actually really good advice.
Yes. Too much is enough. Yes.
You have to.
No, I don't think the fascinator is too much. I like it.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Well, Easter, you can go all out. My family's very serious about holidays. So, it's like Easter,
Yeah. Wow. Good.
I mean, we've got them. I've got the stuff, so might as well use it. I actually have this. My Nana was really wonderful at this embroidery. Yeah. And so she made all these beautiful purses.
Wow.
And, I mean, they're just stunning. And there was 2 daughters and 5 granddaughters. And so when she passed away, I mean, my mom and my aunt have like 3 or 4, and all granddaughters, we all have like 2 of them.
Wow.
So
Great irony.
yeah. As most women know, though, these clutches from our Nana's era, they hold nothing.
Right. They don't even hold a phone. Most of them, you can't put your phone in them.
Yeah.
Kind of funny.
But my walker has like a pouch in it that I can put my important stuff in. So
Well, I hope you have a good time. How are you, Lori?
I'm fine. I'm waiting for Carl to come home. He played today, as you may. Nice job.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
was beautiful.
Yeah, I had never heard that song before, and he brought it home, as Claudia said, let's do this. And he's like, I never heard this song before.
Yeah, I never heard of it either.
It's a tough song to sing, too. I mean, coming in at, the time. There he is.
Good job, Carl.
Man of the hour. Man of the hour. Yeah, I like the trumpet today, too. That was
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That was a
What are you guys doing for Easter, Lori?
Well, Carl and my son are going to go check in with his mom, who's in a nursing home still first. And then we've planned a little feast. We've been watching Patty's Mexican Kitchen too often. So we have recipes all from one of her recent episodes. And that's what we're
fun.
for Easter dinner today.
Good. Nice.
I like how we're getting Carl in like flybys.
I too. Have a happy Easter.
Yeah, we're gonna head off.
Happy
So
Easter.
nice to see you guys. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
Okay.
Take care,
Welcome.
Shirley.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, guys.